All right, folks. I'm just going to jump in here really quickly and discuss something that has been bothering me for a little while here. And I kind of kept quiet about it until it kind of came and smacked me in the face, I guess, on Twitter. And I decided, you know what? Um, People are concerned about this. They need to know what I think. So I'm just going to jump in and I'm going to explain to you what I think. Let me preface this by explaining some of the events that led up to this. So last week, I was in New York City for the Microsoft Connect conference. And while I was there, I mean, we had a great time. We interviewed a whole bunch of people from Microsoft and just, talked to some really great people. Afterward, I spent a couple days seeing the sites in New York City because I was already there. And I thought that would be a lot of fun. And one of the things that I decided to do was I decided to go and buy this hat right here. And I decided to go and take a picture in front of Trump Tower because I thought that would be kind of fun. I'm not a big Donald Trump supporter. I wasn't a Hillary Clinton supporter either. I didn't vote for either of them in the general election, but at the same time, I thought it would be a fun thing to do. And so I went and had my picture taken, and then I posted it to Twitter and a few other places. And I had a whole bunch of people come out and say, I didn't know you were a racist. And that kind of floored me a little bit because, A, a lot of these people are people who I have met in person, who I have gotten to know. They're also people who, I consider friends. And a lot of them have been listening to the podcast for 4 or 5 years. And, it surprised them because I've never given any indication that I have a problem with people of any sort of diverse nature. I don't have a problem with women. I don't have a problem with black people. I don't have a problem with Islamic people as long as they're not trying to come over here and do bad things. And some of them are, and some of them aren't. But I don't have a problem with people because of who they are. I have a problem with some people because of what they choose to do. But that's an issue. That's a separate issue. So why take a picture in front of Trump Tower if I'm not a Trump supporter? Well, I thought it was funny. And I still kind of think it was funny. It's kind of become this meme, make blah, blah, blah great again. And it's, I find it amusing. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll go do this. It's fun. I also sent it to a few friends and family who are diehard Trump supporters. And, they got a kick out of it. So this is really going to get into the meat of what bothers me is that I had a whole bunch of people go, well, I'm going to unfollow you because you're whatever-ist, a racist, a homophobe, whatever, because Donald Trump is. And I just find that logic so faulty. Mainly the issue is, so let me back up. I have a lot of friends and family who voted for Donald Trump. I live in Utah. 50% of the vote went to Donald Trump. And we had a third-party candidate that picked up about 20% that probably would have gone to Donald Trump if he hadn't been running. So there are a lot of people out here that voted for him, and they're all good people. So why are good people voting for Donald Trump? I mean, how can somebody who, I profess to be a follower of Christ, I go out and I do good things for the communities that I serve. So yeah, how could people like me, because there are people here like me, go out and vote for Donald Trump? Well, there are a few reasons that I heard. I talked to several people because I was trying to figure out what to do because I really didn't feel good about either candidate. And I got a whole bunch of different reasons, and a lot of them make sense to me. I mean, they didn't make sense to me as far as a reason for me to vote for either one of them, but it made sense why these people would go vote for them. And I think the really most poignant one is I know a lot of people that live out here that are coal miners and, or farmers or things like that. And they honestly felt like the direction the country had gone under Barack Obama and the decisions that they felt that Hillary Clinton would make as president threatened their livelihood. And when it came right down to it, they went in and they voted for feeding my kids. They didn't vote for what Donald Trump appears to stand for. The other thing is that Donald Trump, in a lot of these cases, because I also went and I was like, you know what, if he's saying these things, I mean, how can anyone vote for him? And I found that probably 75% or more of the things that the news media came out and said that Donald Trump said actually have more context around them. And if you go look at the speeches that he gave, it turns out that he said the words that they put in front of you, but it was within the context of a speech where it meant something different. And so I never felt that he represented racism or bigotry in some way or another. And so it never occurred to me that, wearing a hat that says "Make America Great Again," which is something I'd like to see, and standing in front of Trump Tower would represent this towering fear that people seem to have about what Donald Trump's going to do. Now, I believe firmly in the Constitution and in the Bill of Rights. So yeah, if he's out there trying to silence people or treat people differently because of what they think, believe, or are, then I'm going to be out there with you protesting the guy. But I haven't seen any indication that's what he's going to do. So I'm willing to wait and see how things go. People have also pointed out, and I'm just reacting now to some of the things that people said on Twitter, that Steve Bannon is a white supremacist, and I've heard that from various camps. But again, when I go and try and check the facts, the best I can find is that he appears to know the guy who coined the term alt-right, and I don't know if that happened before or after he said that Breitbart was going to be the outlet for the alt-right. But I've also gone and looked on Breitbart, and I haven't seen anything that is openly and outwardly racist or, demeaning to any other group. And so, again, I kind of have to wait and see on Steve Bannon. I think his other cabinet picks make some sense. So, regardless of what you think or what you believe politically, it doesn't mean that everybody who supported the other candidate is automatically what they are. If that was the case, then, people who supported Hillary Clinton, according to the right, would be lying, conniving fraudsters. And I don't think that's true either. And so, let's just take a breath and apply a little bit of common sense to this issue and think, okay, well, since I know something about somebody and I know that they voted for Trump, then clearly there must be some other reason for why they would be doing what they're doing. But the other thing is jumping to the conclusion that a little gag that I pulled in New York means that I automatically support Trump and everything he stands for. I mean, that's a huge leap. And for all the people who are out there saying, be a skeptic and pointing out logical fallacies, I mean, you made a huge one. So, I'm not angry at anybody, but at the same time, I would like to hope that people can actually stop and think about these things and come together and figure out who the people are that are making the decisions that they are. And we can all come together and, fix some of the issues that we have in our society, as opposed to shouting each other down because we don't agree on who should be president. Anyway, that's the long and the short of what I have to say. I'm sure I still am going to make some people angry with this, but I guess I just don't understand where people are coming from making these leaps in logic. I know some people are scared, but even then, there's a lot of wait and see that's going to have to happen with that. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to turn this off and go take care of my daughter, who I'm sure you can hear crying. Thank you.